of Belgium, where the Circuit du Spa-Francorchamps wins its way through lush greenery and steep inclines, a storm was brewing for Sergio Perez. The day had begun with promise as he secured a second-place starting position, but as the race unfolded, it became clear that his performance would not match the expectations set by his qualifying position. By the time the checkered flag waved, Perez found himself crossing the finish line in 8th, a disheartening result that sent ripples of concern throughout the Red Bull Racing team. The aftermath of the race was palpable. Fans and pundits alike were left in disbelief, questioning how a driver who had once shown such potential could falter so dramatically. The whispers of discontent grew louder, particularly as Perez found himself ensnared in a DRS train led by his teammate Max Verstappen and the relentless George Russell. It was a frustrating sight for those who had hoped to see Perez capitalize on his strong starting position. As the dust settled on the Belgian Grand Prix, the Red Bull team convened for a crucial meeting, the atmosphere thick with tension and uncertainty. The future of Sergio Perez hung in the balance, with speculation swirling around potential replacements like Daniel Ricciardo and Liam Lawson. The stakes were high, with only 11 races left in the season. Every decision made in that meeting could alter the course of the championship and the careers of those involved. The numbers painted a stark picture of Perez's recent performance. Over the past 8 races, while Verstappen amassed an impressive 141 points, Perez could only manage a meager 28. This disparity, 3.5 points per race for Perez compared to Verstappen's 17.6, was a clear indication of a driver struggling to find his footing in a car that had once promised so much. Despite having secured a contract extension, rumors suggested that Red Bull had included clauses that would allow them to part ways if his performance continued to falter. Reflecting on his disappointing outing in Belgium, Perez expressed his frustration. "It generally went pretty badly," he admitted, acknowledging the impressive pace of both Mercedes and Ferrari. "We couldn't match the Ferraris either, so we have plenty of stuff to understand." His words hinted a deeper concern not just for his current standing but for his future in the sport itself. As the meeting approached, Perez made a vow to remain silent on the matter, declaring, "This is the last time I will speak about the future." Yet the uncertainty loomed large. The pressure was mounting, and with the Red Bull's Constructors' Championship lead dwindling, every point became crucial. McLaren had surged ahead, scoring 242 points to Red Bull's 169 in recent races, a statistic that highlighted the urgency of the situation. Team principal Christian Horner acknowledged the gravity of the meeting, emphasizing that it would not solely focus on Perez but would cover various pressing issues. However, the fate of the Mexican driver was undeniably a central topic. Horner noted, "We need both cars to perform," a statement that resonated with the urgency of the moment. The upcoming meeting would be a pivotal moment for Perez, and the atmosphere was charged with speculation. Marker, a key figure in Red Bull, had been vocal about his disappointment in Perez's performance, stating that the driver had squandered a golden opportunity. "He totally collapsed," Marco lamented, pointing to Perez's lackluster lap times during the race. The harsh reality was that Perez's 8th place finish from a 2nd place start was far from the expectations set by the team. In the midst of this turmoil, the prospect of Ricciardo or Lawson stepping into Perez's shoes became more tangible. Each driver had shown promise, with Lawson impressing in his recent outings. The stakes were high, and the outcome of the meeting could reshape not only Perez's career but also the dynamics within the Red Bull team. As the meeting commenced, the air was thick with tension. Horner, Marco, and other key figures in Red Bull gathered to discuss the future of the team. The conversation was not solely about Perez, it encompassed the overall strategy and direction of the team as they approached the summer break. The need for both cars to perform was paramount, and the pressure on Perez was palpable. Marco, who had been particularly critical of Perez, reiterated his stance. Sergio had the opportunity to take a good result from a 2nd place. Unfortunately, that was not the case, he said, highlighting the urgency of the situation. The team needed to address the underlying issues affecting performance, and Perez's struggles were at the forefront of their concerns. As the discussions unfolded, it became clear that the future of Perez was uncertain. The looming question was whether he would be able to turn his fortunes around in the remaining races or if Red Bull would make a decisive move to replace him. The pressure was on and the stakes had never been higher. Meanwhile, the atmosphere within the team was complicated by the dynamics between Perez and Verstappen. Once seen as the potential rivals, the two had developed a more amicable relationship, with Verstappen publicly defending Perez during the tumultuous period. "Perez was not holding me up in the race," Verstappen said, emphasizing that each driver was focused on their own race strategy. However, the underlying tension remained, and the performance gap between the two drivers was a topic of concern. As the meeting continued, the conversations shifted to the potential replacements of Perez. Ricciardo's name had been floated as a candidate, but Lawson's impressive performance could not be ignored. The team needed to evaluate their options carefully, weighing the potential benefits of bringing in a new driver against the risks of disrupting team dynamics. The discussions were intense, with each member of the team weighing in on the potential outcomes. The future of Perez was a hot topic and the stakes were high. Would he be able to rise to the occasion and prove his worth, or would he become a casualty of the fierce competition that defined Formula One? As the meeting drew to a close, the mood was somber. The team had much to consider and the future of Sergio Perez hung in the balance. The coming days would reveal the answers as the team prepared for a pivotal moment in their season. In the days that followed, the speculation surrounding Perez's future continued to grow. The media buzzed with rumors of potential replacements and fans eagerly awaited news from the Red Bull camp. The pressure on Perez was immense, and the uncertainty of his position weighed heavily on his shoulders. As he prepared for the next race, Perez knew that he needed to deliver a strong performance to quell the doubts surrounding him. The time for talk was over. It was time to let his driving do the talking. With each passing day, the stakes grew higher and the pressure mounted. Would he rise to the challenge, or would he falter under the weight of expectation? The next race would be a critical test for Perez. The eyes of the racing world would be upon him, and the outcome could determine not only his future with Red Bull, but also his standing in the sport as a whole. The tension was palpable and the stakes had never been higher. As the engines roared to life and the lights went out, Perez knew that this was his moment. The race would be a defining moment in his career, and he was determined to seize the opportunity. The road ahead was fraught with challenges, but he was ready to confront them head-on. The journey of Sergio Perez was far from over. The twists and turns of the season lay ahead, and the outcome remained uncertain. But one thing was clear. The fight for his future was just the beginning, and he was determined to make his mark on the world of Formula One.